Hey, it's Ryan Knight here with the Extra Rep, bringing you this week's Movement of the Week. So for this week's Movement of the Week, what I chose to go over is the close grip mid-thigh rack pull, which is a derivative of the clean. So the close grip mid-thigh rack pull is basically emulating the second pull of the clean. It is pretty common knowledge in the field of Olympic weightlifting that the second pull of the clean is where we get our triple extension of the ankle, knee, and hip, and that's also where we have the highest power output and highest bar speed. So this is a movement I've been using a lot in my own training program and also when I've been training my high school and college athletes. So we use the clean a lot when developing a power athlete. The clean is usually talking about, like I said, the first pull, you're going to be at mid-shin. That's going to be, the first pull is up until just below the knee. The transition or double knee bend is going to be when you transition the bar over the knee and rebend your knees a little bit. You notice right there, I first extend my knees, then I'm going to re-bend my knees and flex them a little bit. When the bar is at mid-thigh, or if you're a Mark Rippetoe fan, also known as a jumping position, that is where the second pull begins. From here until full triple extension of ankle, knee, and hip, that's where we're going to have the most power out, the highest power output, and the fastest bar speed. That's known as the second pull. So the mid-thigh rack pull, we're going to be pulling the bar from either blocks or from a rack. I'll be showing you from a rack today. We'll be starting at that mid-thigh position. Starting at the mid-thigh position and performing explosive extension at the ankle, knee, and hip. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the movement, and then after we'll talk more about how to implement it into your program and what are some more benefits of using it. Okay, so hopefully between those three angles you were able to see pretty well on what the mid-thigh rack pull should look like. So like I said, it's starting at mid-thigh, full triple extension, ankle, knee, and hip, finishing tall. You were also going to shrug. You should be cueing your athlete to shrug kind of shoulders to right to the ears or shoulders behind the ears. That's going to be finishing at the top, shrugging up right here, just like you would on a clean. So using the mid-thigh rack pull, there's a few things you really need to focus on. One is going to be preloading, another being the Valsalva maneuver. So once you're in the proper position, instead of transitioning back into where you would be from a second pull, you need a preload. Preloading is creating cross bridges in your muscles, creating tension, pulling that slack out of the bar before the bar actually moves. When we tell our muscles to fire, when we send a signal from our central nervous system, it does take a very, very small amount of time, but it does take time. So by preloading, we're actually creating cross bridges before the bar actually moves, and that's going to help us increase our rate of force development. So we'll be able to fire our muscles faster because we already have some cross bridges made. And the main reason for doing the mid-thigh rack pull is to increase our rate of force development, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So preloading is very important. Also, you probably noticed me taking huge breaths between each rep. I was using Valsalva maneuver. So always use a Valsalva maneuver during most of the movements where you're moving a lot of weight. Back squat, bench, clean, deadlift, and so on. No difference mid-thigh rack pull. You need to use the Valsalva maneuver. Take a big breath in, hold it, breathe it out against a closed glottis, and that's going to help us increase our interthoracic pressure and keep a more rigid torso. We're trying to move the bar as fast as we possibly can, so we need a rigid torso. You need that, it's necessary. Arms should be straight, torso needs to be rigid. That way we're applying all that force from our hips through the bar, moving that bar up. So, like I said, I want to talk about a couple reasons why to use the mid-thigh rack pull. Obviously, if you're an Olympic weightlifter, it's a good way to train the second pull. It can be used in your program if you want to use it as an overreach because you're able to do the mid-thigh rack pull with a lot more weight than you might be able to pull from the ground. So, it's pretty typical to, when you program for the mid-thigh rack pull, if you're an Olympic weightlifter, to use mid-thigh rack pulls at 120% of your clean once you get experience with the movement. And you can do some cool things if you're periodizing to use that as a kind of a overreach, high intensity stimulus. If you're a power athlete, if you're just a football player, volleyball player, trying to increase your vertical, trying to increase your power output, you're going to be strengthening all those muscles that we use when we do triple extension. Same reason why we use a clean, we're trying to strengthen the muscles we use when we triple extend. When we're sprinting, when we're jumping, we're always triple extending at the ankle, knee, and hip. Using the mid-thigh rack pull, using clean snatches, we're going to strengthen those muscles, and also we can increase our rate of force development by increasing how fast we recruit those muscles, and also the synchronization of the recruitment of those muscles. So mid-thigh rack pull is great for Olympic weightlifters, great for power athletes.